Ooh, January's already passed, and 2026 is definitely going to be a heck of a year, isn't it? Hello, my fellow haters. This is Please Compose You, your favorite dislike bomb spitball target. So yeah, given my first Pokemon Challenge video and my first two parts of my legit first playthrough of Final Fantasy Renaissance, I thought of making this update video to bring out a list of things to say. Number 1, the transition video. Yes, I've yet to release that damned English video so I can be able to move on and do another, but I've also had a script for what was going to be the script for the new Season 3 of Book with Windows Errors, but I'm thinking of turning that into a text-to-speech video that will transition to my studio's name change. Now, is it going to affect anything? Well, for one, I'm going to need to make a new intro to reflect it. Second, if I make a supercut of seasons 1 and 2, plus supercuts of nonsensical sides and WTF English, I had to make those supercuts first before publishing the text-to-speech shorts. And third, it's not going to have my username be changed. Just the studio name to reflect an on-off project I have that's in its conception phase. What project it may be? Well, that'll be a tale I'll tell you later in this video, but I will still be called Please Compose You no matter what name it is. What do you think I'm going to be referred to as? Moonlight Shadow Productions? That's what the Indie Universe studio was going to be called way in the past, but that's going to my cringy past. Let's just talk about the second topic. Number 2, ending that old resolution. Back in my 2018 Christmas video, I made a resolution at the end, making sure I'm not flooding my main channel, that my videos are gameplay related to whatever game will be on my gaming channel, now renamed to Blazy's Game Room. I guess this year, I'm going to be ending that resolution, except that'll be only in terms of spamming my main channel with nothing but my video game footage. What I'm going to be doing is that I will be posting unedited videos, random videos like Dormant Smash Ultimate Music Insert Series, and VODs on my gaming channel, and post edited playthroughs and something like what I did with my Pokemon RGBY Butterfree Only Challenge on my main channel. There's also that retired Miitopia 3DS playthrough. I don't have the save file anymore for it because of me reformatting my 3DS's micro SD card and having to recreate my 3DS's library. But there are those that have done a Miitopia Let's Play better than me, and I'll dump them in my unused archive channel next to the scrapped version of Season 3 of Bogus Windows Errors at some point. Speaking of Bogus Windows Errors, number 3, figuring out BWE New Season 3's theme. Okay, so after the transition video talk back at the first point of the video, I'll be thinking of making the new Season 3's theming. I mean, Seasons 1, 2, and the scratch version of 3, they each have a story theming. The Season 1 themed after videos is basically space themed. Season 2 is essentially sub-resurrected Vverse in a cringy way, and that was before the existence of Pretendo's Vverse replacement called Juxtaposition. The scrapped version of Season 3 was focusing on Scotty, and the theming are a rebellion taking back their country, a high-stakes video game tournament, and was going to have some sort of apologetic redemption. Well, given that Season 3 is dead and the new Season 3 is going to be different, I have thoughts of the theming. One of them is bringing back the space theme, but would be something like from Warframe or Starfield, or something similar that would take place in something like Los Santos from Grand Theft Auto. Hell, another theme I was considering in the script before it turned into said transition video, where it would be in an apocalyptic setting from something like Fallout or Mad Max, reflecting the Gmod apocalypse of 2024, the current political climate, and well, you get what post-apocalyptic settings are like. And that's not even taking into account on who the antagonist of the new Season 3 would be. And for those who are typing, stop saying new Season 3, just call it Season 3, and I'll reply with, yeah? But you guys voted for me to start a new Season 3 from the ground up, remember? So you voted for that, and I'm going through it. And that's why I'm calling the Season 3 that is scrapped, well, the scrapped Season 3 that'll be retooled as a webcomic at some point. And the new Season 3 that I'm thinking of theming as the new Season 3. Yeah, making it sound like the new in the title is going to make it sound like Yoshi's New Island and the new Super Mario Bros. Games. But the title's not going to have the word new in it, just to let you know. But that's just rambling, so if you know a good theming for the new Season 3 before I do, let me know, or don't. Either way, I need a theming while wanting to develop one of my characters like I was trying to do with Scotty, and link in his hometown of the Republic of Might from Thunderbird's 101 series to that season. And normally, this would be the end, but I want to go ahead and do some seriously dumb rambling for anyone asking about the first topic, as well as that ending to Bogus Windows Errors Freeform Episode 3. Because it isn't just a transition video, that's why my in-universe studio name is getting rebranded. It's something bigger, so prepare yourself, because you're going to be hearing some serious rambling and a story about what I want to cook up. If you aren't interested in what I have to say, there's a chapter that skips this long bit to get to the TLDR version, as well as the ending to this long update video. So with that said, here we freaking go with some story time! All the way back in 2011, I worked on an old-ass RPG Maker VX game. Oh no, he's going into game development! Well, as you can tell by the first two silent footage, character icons, and some seriously choppy footage, these were recorded on an old Windows XP computer that doesn't seem to run well, and that's from when the videos were released. This last project was called B-World, and the plot's a loose, misunderstood concept of a Kingdom Hearts style plot about my own me as a self-insert that's not really a self-insert because that character's a silent protagonist. It probably isn't supposed to have my own name, so you can say it's a placeholder or some shit. As he and his old wife decided to go through an adventure to hunt down an intrusive being made by an old friend of mine from that era, who nowadays goes by the name of Silyu, who killed his city's king and summoned towers all over the many worlds, piercing and shattering the fourth wall. Yeah, off script, that line took me multiple attempts to freaking voice through, and I don't want to read through the entire paragraph of the script, so that's why I had to and I'm talking about the barrier between worlds called the fourth wall, not the thing where a character or two looks at the camera and barks at you or uses the UI to interact and mess with you. It's different from the lanes between from the Kingdom Hearts games. This has characters that are from games and media I've enjoyed at the time, as well as fascinated for the fact that I've never heard about until then when I used them without watching the show or whatever else. Hello, WB Kids' 1998 entertaining cartoon series called Hysteria. Now, you're asking if this is the very game I'm working on for possibly 15 years since I shared the footage, and that I've been working on it like it's the development of Persona 5, right? No. Because I lost those project files long ago, alongside other project idea of a crossover between Arc Lad and Codename Kids Next Door. Yeah, a crossover between an obscure saga of turn-based tactical RPGs and a Cartoon Network show. Yeah, I know, I'm that weird. That stuff is just long past gone, and note that it was from the time when I played and messed around with a cracked version of RPG Maker VX, because, broke ass VV broke at the time. Yar har yar. Something pirate or whatever. Nowadays, I have all the RPG Maker software that's on Steam from 2000 all the way to MZ, as well as RPG Maker Unite on the Epic Store, which utilizes the Unity engine. And oh baby, that's the odd one out. But I do think we have an Epic account ever since I started playing Rocket League for the first time back in 2020. The year of the brick. Yeah, that's a lore dump for you. But anyways, I currently have a project that's currently on an on-off switch situation only because, well, I'm in need of modelers for what kind of art style I'm wanting it to be, while also researching and thinking of skills, equipment, balancing, and all that jazz. Yes, I don't have a master's degree in game development, but then again, I can't write code for shit, and RPG Maker software helps with things like placing objects, writing down events like cutscenes on like generative AI, putting in enemy stats, etc, 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 it freaking etc. What I say here is that I'm looking in terms of art design for this particular project of mine to make the art style pre-rendered 3D, like in games such as Donkey Kong Country, Myst, or the informationally endangered and entirely obscured Cookies Bustle. And it's mainly in terms of world design, despite what viewpoint RPG Maker games obviously have, unless we're talking about the usage of scripts or plugins that gives overworld maps the power of Mode 7. I'm also talking about making 3D models of enemies both Pharaoh and Amphro within the modern Magitech setting of the game, pre-rendered graphical tiles for towns, dungeons, etc., and mainly characters to pose with on either Source Filmmaker or Blender for cutscenes using images. Yes, that is a whole lot coming from some high school dropout slash car crash survivor who's wanting to make something bigger than what my 10 IQ brain wants to make, other than dumb videos and live streams. And yes, I know there are games made by one guy plus a handful of support like Cave Story or Dust and Elysian Tale, and there are games made by a small group or large community. And RPG Maker games are no different in terms of being built by 600 people in a clusterfuck of office cubicles or one guy in their basement. And if you think I'm going to sell said game for a pittance, no, not really, because while death and taxes are the two inevitabilities, thank you Benjamin Franklin, I'm not privy to make 2,000 bones per month for my own game, so I'm going to be having people play it for free. And no, there won't be any microtransactions on it, because who the fuck would program that in an RPG Maker game? Not ASCII, not Kadokawa, Gacha Games, or any people that have made games with RPG Maker software. Definitely nobody from the same team that made this game. And the release date for it? Well, I'm not going to give it a release date right now because it's nowhere near done. I would make an Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 for it, like what Square Enix is doing with their Final Fantasy VII Remake series of installments, if that's an easier way to do that. Like how .hack IMOQ did with telling its story through 4 parts. And I'll cover real quick. Bandai Namco, when is IMOQ getting remastered with extra content? I know you did the same thing with the GU games with Last Recode. Okay, back on topic. It's probably going to take years for it to even develop. Hell, I might develop an entirely different game aside from that and focus on it and use my new studio name on it as well, but won't use the pre-rendered art stuff. Who knows? I might forget and leave that project unfinished and forgotten about while I drown in my own forgetfulness. Then again, the life of a developer is never easy, even if I took up game development with Game Builder Garage for the Nintendo Switch. Does that even count as game development or some sort of Nintendo-based toy? But in any case, I do have a game that's currently getting its ingredients laid out. I just need some chefs here while I'm trying to practice to become one. You know, 3D modelers for 3D models of characters and monsters, backgrounds, foregrounds, tiles, all that shit I mentioned before, as well as writers, because I'm just thinking of a title for it, as well as skills for the, spoiler alert, 10 characters plus any character that could serve as a temporary party member. The premise for the story, and look, I don't have the money to go and hire Jim fucking Sterling's son with the story just because they served as an excellent writer for the game Vampire Survivors, a fun-ass game with tons of content, as well as DLC including Ultimate Castlevania, which has tons more content. And breathe. God, what a long-ass rambling session that is. Like, this was supposed to be, what, an update video? Anyways, if you watched all the way through, congratulations, but if you use that chapter skip I provided, here's the TLDR version. I'm making an RPG Maker game or two, and I need help and or support if you care to, and there's a big reason why that's been teased in Focus Windows Errors 3 Season 3. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm ending that resolution, so be prepared for gaming videos. I'm transitioning from BPU Studios to a different name. I'm figuring out the theming for the new Season 3, and I'm cooking up a big project. If you'd like to join my Discord to talk about it, well, DM me, but please do not start anything. I'm sure you will. And make sure you like this video or dislike bomb, however you wish. Subscribe for more videos of mine that is crafted by my own human hands, and I'm sure that's probably gonna wake someone up because, I mean, I'm recording this at the dead of night. I mean, come on, I have the opportunity to make this freaking voice recording for my freaking scripts. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah, and be safe out there because it be cold at time of writing, and the current political climate is ass out there. This has been Blaze Compose You signing off, and I love you all. See ya. Yeah, so do I have to mention that it is a game about rabbits? Fucking furries, ooh woo, I don't know. So here comes Lazy Poo coming out as a fucking furry ooh rabbit man. Multiplication tables or whatever. Jesus fucking Christ. Who's recording this? Okay, okay, so whoever is recording this, stop recording this. Stop recording this. Stop.